It was a Friday night, and I was on the road. I had left Chicago right at sunset. I was on my way to Michigan, and we were going to drive to my cousin's house in Toronto for the weekend. All was going well until.
So here I am on the side of a very busy highway in Illinois, and I'm waiting for AAA to come.
There was a pothole on the side of the road, and I didn't see it. My tire went into it and went completely flat.
Within a few minutes, it was making all kinds of whining noises.
And the car, which was going at 70 miles per hour, went down to 30 miles per hour. And however much I hit the gas, it wouldn't move. It was so scary. It felt like how when you're dreaming and you're trying to run and you can't move. That's exactly how it felt. All these trucks and cars were speeding past me. I knew something was seriously wrong. So the first thing I did was I pulled over and I put on my hazard light. After that, I called AAA, roadside assistance. The lady on the phone planned it all out for me.
The auto shops are all closed, obviously, at this time. So they're coming to tow the car.
Tow the car to an auto shop.
I'll have to pay them to drop me off at a hotel.
By the next morning, I'll come back, pick up my car, and I'm good to go. There was a spare tire in the trunk, but I didn't know if it was usable, and I definitely didn't know how to put it on. It took about an hour and a half for the tow truck to actually show up, and he saw that the spare tire was good enough for me to drive back to Chicago, which was about an hour and a half. After we got the spare tire on, I drove back to Chicago. The trip to Michigan was cancelled, and my parents and relatives in Toronto were pretty disappointed. Overall, it was really scary to be stranded in the middle of nowhere with nothing but a roadside assistance number to help me. I decided that it's time I'm more prepared for emergencies like this. My car was not at all ready for any kind of emergency. But those 60 minutes of waiting helplessly on the side of the highway was enough to inspire me not to wait for disaster to strike to become wise. I put together an emergency kit. I also ordered a portable battery charger, jumper cables, and a little snow shovel. I personally am a total dummy when it comes to cars. I can drive them pretty well, but I can't do anything else with them. I know for a lot of you this is like common sense, but for me it's totally new. The next day when I went to the tire shop to actually get a new tire, the guy there gave me some really valid pointers. There are a few lessons I learned. Keep flashlights, blankets, food, water, a phone charger, jumper cable. Always keep your hazards on when you're pulled onto the side of the road. This is just because, especially at night, when people are tending to be a little sleepy, they may see your car as an extra lane in the highway and end up behind you. He also suggested to hang something white outside of your window, like a white shirt, a paper towel, or even a piece of paper. Oh, there are a lot of people who are really good with their car, and they would probably do a better job of fixing their car than anyone else would. My situation, where I was stuck in the middle of a highway with absolutely no one around me or no one with me, the most important thing at that moment was having somebody who was willing to come out and help me. So that roadside assistance was of ultimate importance for me at that moment. At that moment, it's like a godsend. I think without that, I wouldn't have any idea what to do out there. So the car was ready for travel, but I wasn't so interested in getting into a road trip so soon.
Thus begins my second attempt to Michigan.
Instead, the following weekend, I hopped onto a flight to Michigan. And a little home-cooked dinner.
Oh, Flint, here we come.
These little planes really shake you up.
Just landed in Flint. As you can see, it's a tiny little airport. But it has a lot of memories of coming back to visit my parents' house. It's a Buick. My dad used to have a Buick until we were maybe 12.
And this is my dad. In Malayalam, we call him Achin.
This kind of Sanskrit chanting is very common around the house. He was really happy to make breakfast for me, and I was really happy to eat it. Listen, where are we going? So although we were technically making an international trip, this part of Canada feels just like Michigan, eh? What is the temperature outside? And why am I so cold? Hi! What? And this is Potter, named after Mr. Potter himself.
Hey guys, it's me, Netra.
My 9-year-old niece. Let's let her introduce herself.
Hey world, ready to see the ukulele? Let's go. Judah, 47 years old, hometown, Ottawa, Ontario. Alright, so you have to drink a white candling a glass of food. You have to feel this part in slow motion when I hurt my hand. Me handling the fork. Me handling the Thanks for watching me handling the leg.
Look at Potter, he's wondering what happened to him. Oh! Netra.
Thanks for watching me handling a hot pot of food. The end. And last but not least, me handling a bowl.
Don't break it.
I will. Thanks for watching me handling a bowl. That's the end of all the me handling. Have a great day. Netra Dave, please subscribe to my me handlings and have a great day. Also subscribe to Next Booster Regular. Me handling a dog.
Video.
Hey boy, thanks for watching the me handling. This is my dog Potter and his little chew toy that he's in the room. And I love him dearly. I'm never gonna get annoyed with him. So thanks for watching this. See ya! End it! Okay. Thanks for watching again. But my cameraman is just not ending it. Otherwise, I will shame her on YouTube. Do you know a secret about her? So basically, one time, there was this her friend. She opened the door of her room, and she was naked in the room, and she got posted on Instagram. Ha ha, camera person. See ya. Stop filming me. My name is Leah. My name is Robert. I'm gonna go inside and eat some food. Oh, no. No. No.
Spending time with Netra, I realized that the main quality people lose as they grow up is this tender sense of playfulness and abandon. Quality which can find the fun in just about any situation.
I'm gonna play a prank on her. Alright, guys. Okay, so she's sleeping.
Seeing the world through the eyes of a 9-year-old was really refreshing.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're having a Thanksgiving.
I'll take it. What can I serve you?
I cooked the rice. This,
Is it okay? The meat in front of you or okay?
You didn't cut the turkey. I cooked everything. See, I'm going on YouTube.
Until that morning, honestly, I didn't even know there was a Canadian Thanksgiving. It all looked really familiar. The turkey, the green beans, the mashed potatoes, the pumpkin pie. Turns out, the Canadians did it first. In 1578, the first Thanksgiving took place in the Canadian Arctic by Sir Martin Frobisher. They were on their third voyage to discover the Northwest Passage connecting Europe and East Asia, but they ended up in Canada. Their Thanksgiving was probably thanking God for keeping them alive through all this voyaging. The first American Thanksgiving was 43 years later in 1621, and it wasn't even celebrated regularly for another 200 years. Coincidentally, now the Canadian Thanksgiving takes place on the same day as the American Columbus Day, but I'm pretty sure that's a coincidence. The fact that the Canadian Thanksgiving takes place a few weeks earlier than the American Thanksgiving is probably due to the fact that Canada is further north and their harvest happens earlier. Thanksgiving has found expression in so many beautiful ways all around the world, from the Harvest Moon Festival in China to the Erntedankfest in Germany and so many others. This emotion of wanting to express gratitude seems to be inbuilt in us for maybe hundreds or thousands of years. Many of these festivals were centered around the harvest. I can definitely imagine the magic that a farmer must feel when the fruits of many months of hard work on the field actually come forth in their hands. It would definitely be worth a festival. So now I am back in the United States and I'm getting ready for an American Thanksgiving weekend. I don't eat turkey, and tofu turkey isn't my thing either. Actually, growing up in an American Indian household, most of the time we just ended up feasting on whatever we really liked, like rice or roasted vegetables and some kind of dessert. Sometimes it was an American dessert, but it was more like an attempt to somehow be part of the whole Thanksgiving mood that was all around us. It wasn't really a family tradition. This year, a couple of my cousins from my dad's side of the family are in town. I haven't seen these cousins in 10 or 12 years just because we lived so far apart. Actually, the last time I saw them, they were like this small, and now I'm going to be meeting them as young men. I've got a few things planned: stuffed mushrooms and cauliflower and of course paneer because we are desi. A very happy Thanksgiving to you and to your family.
The end.